evening. Assalamualaikum Luzon, Visayas and Mindanao. Together with the Presidential Communications Office, we bring you the latest, widest and most comprehensive news coverage from the People's Television, IBC, Philippine News Agency, Philippine Information Agency, and Presidential Broadcast Service. I'm Princess Habiba Saripaudak from Radyo Pilipinas. Welcome to Balitang Pambansa. Tonight's headlines. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. leads the gathering of the League of Municipalities of the Philippines, or LMP, aimed at honoring local chief executives who have been instrumental in improving the situation in their respective communities. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. gives his endorsement of all 12 senatorial candidates of the administration. Several senators weigh in on the Senate's role on the impeachment case against the Vice President. The Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, or AFP, General Romeo Browner Jr., brought up anew the plan for the country to acquire a submarine to boost our territorial defense capabilities. The Commission on Elections, or COMELEC, says that the occurrence of cheating in the upcoming midterm polls would be unlikely. On top of the news, are you better off today than during the time of my predecessor? The bellwether question every sitting local official seeking re-election should pose to himself or herself of the public to deserve their trust and confidence for one more shot at leadership, according to the President in his address to the annual League of Municipalities of the Philippines convention earlier today. Art Lizelle Pardilla has the full report.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. emphasized the intensity of local elections, particularly at the barangay level. President Marcos Jr. said during the League of Municipalities of the Philippines General Assembly in Pasay City,
ang pinakamaiinit na eleksyon ay linalaban sa local government. Sa matter of fact, palagay ko, siguro mag-agree kayo sa mga mayor kayo, nakikita ninyo ito. Ang pinakamainit na eleksyon ay barangay. Yun ang dahil puro magkakilala, puro magkakamag-anak. Kaya't nagkakapersonalan.
With the campaign period for provincial, city, and barangay candidates is set to begin on March 28, the President reminded officials of their purpose in public service.
Sa init ng kampanya, sa init ng halalan, huwag natin kakalimutan na tayo ay nandito, tayo ay pumasok sa serbisyo ng publiko upang tulungan ang taong bayan.
More than 1,600 city and municipal mayoralty posts are up for grabs in the upcoming midterm elections. As officials near the end of their terms, the President posed a crucial question.
Isang tanong lamang ang mahalaga. Mas maginhawa ba ang buhay ng mga Pilipino dahil sa ating mga ginawa? Kung ang sagot ay oo, alam natin, nagampanan natin ang ating tungkulin.
He encouraged leaders to always carry the same dedication regardless of their next actions.
And whatever path you choose after this, whether you seek another mandate or move on to a new chapter in your lives, I trust that you will embrace the same grit, passion, and commitment to service.
The President assured continued assistance to local governments to improve public service delivery, highlighting key programs such as the Electronic Business One-Stop Shop, or EBOS. Last year, 113 local government units fully complied with EBOS requirements, while 1,200 have begun automating their transactions. The government has also rolled out a modernized electronic procurement system, making transactions more transparent and efficient while curbing corruption.
Ay kailangan natin na magamit ang pinakamagagandang teknolohiya upang maging mas maganda ang serbisyo nating ibinibigay sa tao. Ito ay makakatulong para maging mas mabilis, mas maginhawa, at mas accountable lahat ng ating mga ginagawa para sa taong bayan.
From PTV Manila, Lizelle Pardilla, Balitang Pambansa.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Tuesday endorsed the 12 senatorial candidates running under Alianza para sa Bagong Pilipinas during the kickoff rally for the midterm elections in Lawag, Ilocos Norte. In his strongly worded speech, the chief executive praised their track records in public service and stressed that they are free from the taint of the previous administration. President Marcos Jr. also called on his province mates to support the senatorial candidates.
Kung kilatisin natin ng isa-isa, napakatingkad ng ating kakayahan, ng kanilang kakayahan at ng mga pambato para sa pagbabago. At kapag pinagsama kagaya nito na nangyari dito sa Alyansa, ay lalong nakaka-impress ang kanilang pinagsamang lakas at galing. Yan po ang ating ipagmamalaki. Dahil po nauunawaan nila hindi lamang ang mga problema na hinaharap na nasyonal, hindi lang ang mga problema sa taas, sa Senado, ngunit lahat po sila ay may karanasan sa local government, may karanasan sila sa executive. Lahat po sila ay nakapagpakita na ng kanilang kakayahan. Kaya't po ay kayang-kaya naming maipagmalaki. Nais ba natin bumalik sa landas na umaapaw sa dugo ng mga inosenteng mga bata na inagaw sa kanilang mga anak, mga ina, kinuha sa kanilang mga tahanan at inagaw ang kanilang kinabukasan. Walang nagnanais na Pilipino na mabalik tayo sa ganyang klaseng pagpatakbo. Kaya naman, pakakatiyak po kayo na kapag ang ating mga kandidato ay naluklok sa Senado at sila ay nagsimula ng kanilang trabaho, asahan po ninyo na sila po ay hindi makikihalo, hindi makikilahok sa ganyang bagay na ating iniwanan na at naayaw balikan. Sa darating na Mayo po, huwag nyo na pong tignan ang mga ibang mga pangalan. I-shade nyo na po lahat po itong nandito na nasa harap ninyo at gawing nating 12-0 ang ating resulta sa Senado. Nang sa ganon, matitiyak natin ang kinabukasan ng ating minamahal na Pilipinas.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has called on elected officials to continue maintaining a positive impact to their constituents even after their terms conclude. President Marcos Jr. made a call during the end-term General Assembly of the League of Municipalities of the Philippines in Manila. The chief executive also emphasized the importance of sustaining public service beyond tenure and highlighted the crucial role of municipal mayors as frontline responders connecting citizens with the national government during critical times. Reflecting on his own journey from local official to president, President Marcos Jr. underscored the enduring challenges and opportunities in public service. The news, First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos led the Philippine government delegation at the annual World Government Summit in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. She was among the speakers who delivered a special address at the summit. In her address, she shared her experiences on how to shape a better future for fellow citizens in the education, health, and environment sectors, in line with President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s directive to encourage all Filipinos to work together for a better Philippines. Hosted by the Office of the Development Affairs of the UAE Presidential Court, the World Government Summit, which runs from February 11 to 13, 2025, is renowned for gathering prominent leaders, policymakers, and experts worldwide to address critical global challenges such as poverty, hunger, and crisis mitigation.
As First Lady, I have had the privilege of working with both the public and private sectors to help bring about changes in our society. Our efforts may not be that grand as the UAE, but they have definitely helped to make an impact on those who need it most.
The National Bureau of Investigation, or NBI, on Wednesday has recommended the filing of criminal charges against Vice President Sara Duterte before the Department of Justice, or DOJ. The NBI said that they found sufficient evidence to charge the Vice President with grave threats and inciting to sedition, which stems from controversial statements she made against President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos, and House Speaker Martin Romualdez. Meanwhile, the DOJ said that it has submitted the case to the police of the National Prosecution Service, where it will undergo an intensive evaluation to determine if there is enough evidence to proceed with filing charges against Vice President Duterte.
Nasa DOJ na ang bola ngayon, no? I-determine nila kung magkukonduct sila ng preliminary investigation at later i-file ang case sa court, no? Titimbangin ng DOJ kung yung bang aming mga inilatag na ebidensya, yung aming investigation ay sufficient para mag-conduct sila ng preliminary investigation.
When Senator Francis Tolentino says there are far more pressing problems of the country to focus on than impeaching the daughter of her former boss, it is a preview of how he is likely to vote on the impeachment complaint when judgment time is up. An identical or similar sentiment at least 6 to 10 senators share and that's a big if, and when they form the lineup of the 20th Congress tasked to adjudicate on the complaint, our Danielle tells us more, to include the latest NBI charge filed against the embattled Vice President.
As the National Bureau of Investigation made another move against Vice President Sara Duterte, for Senate President Francis Escudero, this won't affect the impeachment proceedings.
Walang epekto yon sa napipintong impeachment proceedings. Pwede magpatuloy yon ng sabay, pwedeng mauna, pwedeng sumunod. Wala siyang bearing sa impeachment proceedings.
Escudero said the Senate will just be passive and will sit as jurors of the impeachment court. As he explained that unlike any other Senate committee investigation, it is not their job to issue subpoenas to gather evidence, as this is the job for the prosecution and the defense.
Kung sakasakali na hilingin yan sa korte o sa NBI, at trabaho din nilang ipresenta yan. Nasa kabilang panig ang tutulan yan, at sa parte ng Senado, nasa trabaho naman namin ay magdesisyon o magpasyak.
Senate Majority Leader Francis Tolentino meanwhile finds the impeachment as distraction in light of various problems that have beset the country.
Alam mo, yung impeachment ngayon, talaga nakaka-distract ito. Ang daming pwedeng pag-usapan. Ang dami natin problema, yung siling labuyo, 500 pesos. Ito pa yung problema natin, di ba? Tapos ngayon, tumaas pa ata ang presyo ng kuryente, Meralco. Di ba? Dito pa rin tayo sa, ang dami nating problema dapat kaharapin.
However, he sees the point of some legal opinions saying the current Congress, which started the impeachment, shall also conclude the proceedings and pass the final judgment on the complaint.
So, pag sinimulan mo ng 19th Congress should likewise finish it. Although there is another school of thought na continuing body raw yung yung Congress, pwedeng ituloy na sila yung mag-decide.
From PTV Manila, Daniel Manalastas, Balitang Pambansa.
Several House Solons who support the impeachment against Vice President Sara Duterte are confident that their complaint has become even stronger now that the National Bureau of Investigation, or NBI, has also recommended the filing of charges against the Vice President over her alleged death threats to President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos, and House Speaker Martin Romualdez to the Department of Justice. According to House Assistant Majority Leader Jill Bungalon. He is also part of the House Prosecution Panel. This serves as proof that VP Sara has indeed committed violations. House Deputy Majority Leader Paulo Ortega and Assistant Majority Leader Ernex Jonicio also agreed with this, stating that there were evidences available to prove their claims. Meanwhile, House Assistant Majority Leader Jude Asidre reminded the Senate in particular that the impeachment trial should not be delayed as the issue directly affects the president's safety.
If we continue to delay justice, we may be placing our Commander-in-Chief in serious danger. Napakaraming pwedeng mangyari sa loob ng 5 buwan na naantala ang Senate trial. Huwag ho tayong maging naive. Every day na na-delay po itong trial na to, meron pong threat sa buhay ng ating Pangulo.
On the other news, the Coast Guard and naval patrols in the country's EEZ and maritime territories have been religiously consistent. And though the military's modernization program has received much attention and financial support from the government, the AFP still needs far more than what government has provided thus far. Hence, the need to look elsewhere for supplemental financing from non-governmental sources, as our Patrick De Jesus covers in this report.
Amid the ongoing improvement of the country's defense, the modernization of the armed forces equipment continues. According to AFP Chief of Staff General Romeo Browner Jr., the plan to acquire a submarine under the AFP Modernization Program Horizon 3 remains in place.
Hopefully, it's a dream for us to get at least 2 submarines. We are an archipelago, and so we have to have this type of capability, because it's really difficult to defend the entire archipelago without submarines.
In recent years, the budget for the AFP Modernization Program has increased by 29%, with the government allocating 35 billion pesos for 2025. General Browner admits this amount is still not enough, especially with multi-year contracts still being paid for previously procured equipment. However, he says measures are being taken to secure additional funds through local and foreign financing.
In fact, we have had some offers already. So pinag-aaralan po natin yung legality nito. But sa lahat po ng tulong na pwedeng maibigay sa AFP, sa Philippine Coast Guard at sa iba pang ahensya ng gobyerno that are involved in securing our territory and our sovereign rights, these are all welcome to us.
This year, the delivery of 2 new corvettes from South Korea is expected, including the BRP Miguel Malvar, which will arrive in March. There will also be new landing dock ships and 6 offshore patrol vessels. Meanwhile, the Philippine Coast Guard continues to monitor Chinese vessels within the country's exclusive economic zone. This includes the Chinese research vessel Lanhai 101, which was first detected within the country's archipelagic waters and was last spotted near the Babuyan Islands, heading back to China. Although the vessel previously informed authorities that its passage was due to bad weather conditions in the western part of Palawan, the PCG noted suspicious behavior as the vessel turned off its automatic identification system or transponder.
It keeps on entering the contiguous zone natin. Mini-maintain niya yung 23, 24, 25 nautical miles off the coast of our coastline. So, although BRP Cabra keeps on pushing her further away from our contiguous zone, and yet insisting pa rin siyang pumasok.
Currently, the BRP Cabra is monitoring China Coast Guard 3304, which came within 43 nautical miles of Pangasinan. At Bajo de Masinloc, 4 China Coast Guard ships remain in the area, with the most recent arrival being CCG 5303, while the monster ship is still present. Despite this, the PCG assures the country has the capability to monitor any attempted reclamation at Scarborough Shoal, which the government considers a red line.
Yan ang priority ng ating mga lipad, ng ating aircraft and also the intelligence gathering ng ating Philippine Coast Guard to make sure that the Chinese government are not carrying out illegal reclamation in Bajo de Masinloc. So far, we can say na the Chinese government are not doing reclamation in Bajo de Masinloc.
Today, the 7th multilateral maritime cooperative activity between the Philippines, Canada, and the United States was held in the West Philippine Sea, involving naval and air force units from the participating countries. From the People's Television Network, Patrick De Jesus, Balitang Pambansa.
On the other news, the Commission on Elections, or COMELEC, has assured the public of fair elections amid concerns about impartiality following the appointment of 2 new commissioners, Attorney Norina Tangaro Casingal and Noli Pipo. COMELEC Chairman George Erwin Garcia emphasized that the Commission remains committed to upholding the law and protecting the rights of the Filipino people. Commissioner Garcia also clarified that President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. appointed the new commissioners to fill the vacancies left by the retirement of former commissioners Socorro Inting and Marlon Casquejo. Meanwhile, Commissioner Noli Pipo was sworn in and officially assumed his position earlier this morning.
Darating at darating ang punto ng isang incumbent na president ay makapag-a-appoint ng isang buong komisyon ng halalan, buong komisyon ng civil service, buong komisyon ng commission of audit. Ang importante lang po lagi ang saksi namin ng Diyos sa tambayan sa mga ganitong klaseng undertaking. We will always be responsible to our oath. Pinanumpaan po yan. Ito yung purpose ng oath. Your loyalty should always be to the country, to the Constitution, to the Republic and the people.
The Department of Human Settlements and Urban Developments, or DHSUD, has reaffirmed its commitment to providing affordable housing. In an interview, DHSUD Secretary Rizalino Acuzar stated that President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is sincere in his promise to provide homes for all Filipinos and highlighted the administration's initiatives to ensure government housing remains affordable through subsidies. Beyond being climate resilient, the department also ensures that buildings and houses constructed under the National Housing for Filipino Housing, or 4PH program, are equipped with adequate facilities and continues to relocate residents from danger zones to safer areas. PhilHealth launches a new benefit package for persons with disabilities, or PWDs. Jana Pineda of the Philippine Information Agency, National Capital Region, has the details.
In a bid to improve the access of more Filipinos to responsive healthcare services, the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation launched a new benefit package that will cater to the welfare of persons with disabilities, particularly stroke patients. The said benefit package includes coverage for assistive mobility devices such as wheelchairs, walkers, crutches, and canes. Following the conduct of the Kapihan sa Bagong Pilipinas together with PhilHealth, NCR Regional Vice President Bernadette Lico highlighted that aside from the assistive mobility device, the new benefit package will also cover the necessary assessment and therapy sessions of patients in need of the healthcare service. The rollout of the said benefit package is scheduled to begin this February in line with the 30th anniversary of PhilHealth and the observance of the National Health Insurance Month. PhilHealth is also actively encouraging health facilities to apply for PhilHealth accreditation in order to extend essential and accessible healthcare services to more Filipinos.
Ang tawag dito is rehabilitative package. Kasi di ba nasa Universal Healthcare Law, ang nakasulat doon, hindi lang tayo dapat curative eh. May preventive tayo, meron tayong rehabilitative care. So doon po mapasok. So parang kino-comply lang natin what is in the law.
Meanwhile, PhilHealth has underscored anew that the social health insurance programs of PhilHealth will not be reduced and instead will increase following the guarantee of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. From the Philippine Information Agency,
for our Your weather update. Shear line is affecting the eastern sections of northern and central Luzon, while intertropical convergence zone or ITCZ is affecting Mindanao. Based on Pagasa's latest update, mainland Cagayan, Isabela, Apayao, Kalinga, and Aurora will experience cloudy skies with scattered rains and isolated thunderstorms caused by the shear line. Mindanao may also encounter cloudy skies with scattered rains and thunderstorms due to the ITCZ. Batanes and Babuyan Islands, on the other hand, may expect cloudy skies with rains caused by the northeast monsoon. Meanwhile, Metro Manila and the rest of the country may experience partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated rain showers or thunderstorms caused by the easterlies. And that concludes a rundown of the latest, widest, and most comprehensive news and information from all across the nation. From Radyo Pilipinas, this is Princess Habiba Saripaudak, your trusted news source, always ready to inform and serve the Filipino people. Catch Balitang Pambansa again tomorrow at 7 a.m., 12 noon, 6 p.m., 9:30 p.m. for more updates and developments. Again, from Radyo Pilipinas, I'm Princess Habiba Saripaudak. This is Balitang Pambansa.